We now move on to the next subject, which is a very small yet a very big subject. That's called Developing India. And it is going to be presented by Rajesh Prasad. The moderator for the session is Ranjit Singh Birdi, a career railwayman who has worked as a mechanical engineer with the Indian Railways. After 2 decades on the Western Railway Zone, working in operational divisions and repair workshops, he joined the Container Corporation of India Limited for 4 years. Thereafter, following various assignments, including one as the divisional railway manager of the Mumbai division, he was posted as the general manager of the Northeast Frontier Railway Zone, from where he retired. This did not mean that he retired from life and continued as a freelance consultant with organizations as diverse as the National Highway Authority of India. Over to you, Mr. Virdi.
Thank you, Manoj. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
My pleasure to introduce the next speaker for this international conference. The speaker is Mr. Rajesh Prasad. He is a civil engineer. He has done his B.Tech and M.Tech from IIT Kanpur. He joined the Indian Railways in the Indian Railways Service of Engineers. And then he moved to Rail Vikas Nigam Limited, which is a public sector undertaking under the Ministry of Railways, from where he retired as Director Operations. Throughout his career, he has won number of accolades and awards. We will skip the list as it is too long to reproduce here. His strong business development sense and his professional skills in procurement, engineering feasibility studies, project engineering, rail transportation helped him set up the business development wing in the RVNL, and they obtained an international project in Maldives. He's a good orator and has authored and presented many papers on railway working and civil engineering subjects. During the course of this conference, we have had the pleasure of listening to the development of many railway systems, right from the history of the American Railroad to the way the Chinese are going forward in scripting their own future in the railways with massive investments and phenomenal speed. We are yet to hear of something of how the Indian Railways is functioning, and the title of Mr. Prasad's topic today hides a lot. It says Developing India, and it will cover a lot of work in the infrastructure sector as well as what is being done on Indian Railways. And with that, I would like to hand over to Mr. Prasad to please take us through his presentation today.
So, I will good afternoon, sirs, madams, respected Virdi sir. I can see Vinu Mathur sir, Sanjay Mukherjee sir is also there, Jail Singh sir, and the organizers, Manoj Pandey sir, I could see him, and the organizers of this enthusiast society, and for giving me another opportunity to speak to the august members. Only in last January only I had given a talk on what is new in the new Pamban Bridge, and today's the topic is basically journey to Viksit Bharat. Viksit Bharat means we are entering into a phase which we call the developed country. Now will become developed country. So this journey is basically possible because of the innovation, the technology, more and more infrastructure project creations, investments, and the industry partnership. So in the center of the presentation, the slide, you can see a clipping from the Times of India, December 2024, where it says that history meets AI. On this very day, India's first freight train operation was operated in 1851. So, see, what I want to cover is that how things have happened in the context of the Indian Railways, in the infrastructure sectors, and how we are moving forward for 2047. We have already completed 75 years of independence. We call it Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, and now we are moving towards Viksit Bharat. So this period, this 25-year block, we call it the Rising Bharat period. So I have made presentations which have got pictures, which have got video clips, some animations. So hope you will enjoy this. This is number one. Just now Birdi sir was talking about China. So I have got few numbers. See, in the year 1992, China and India both were having the economy of 0.3 trillion. And the route kilometer wise, China was having around 62,000 route kilometers, whereas India was 57,000 route kilometers. Today we are having a route kilometer of 69,000 route kilometers, whereas China has grown up to 1,55,000 kilometers. And in terms of the economy, we are roughly 3.3 trillion, whereas China has grown to more than 18 trillions. So what is the reason behind this? The reason behind this is the lack of investment in the context of creation of Indian railway infrastructures, and then lack of focused approach. So my presentation will cover on these two aspects and what we have done since independence, and then from 2014 to 2024, and then from 2024 to 2047. So if we see the evolution of the rail transport, in the 1550s, we used to have the horse-drawn the railways. Then the period was in 18th century, plateways we used to call, where the wooden rail and wheels were replaced by iron. Then the steam locomotives, which is still in place in some of the heritage railways, as the previous speaker was talking about this in Germany. Now, if we go back to the history, the beginnings are basically United States 1827, Germany 1835. In India, it was 1853, to be precise enough, 16th April 1853 from Mumbai to Thane. And then we are now in the phase of modernization and expansion. Now, if you see the aim of the Indian Railways, what has been the roles of the Indian Railways? Unigauge. Unigauge means we used to have one gauge so that the time is not lost in shifting of the consignment. 100% electrification or the green transport system. Then the Global Innovation Index, there has been a sharp improvements from 2014 to 2015 to 2024. It was 81, now we are ranked 39. Then connecting the unconnected part of the country for the overall growth of the country. Then the modal share, I will be covering this aspect in the presentation. The logistic cost. See, we have got a huge market, logistic market in India, which is more than $250 billion, and the logistic cost is around 14 to 16% of economy, and in order to compete in the world, it has to be less than 10%. Modal share, it is 26%. We want to increase it because the rail transport is 3 times cheaper and 10 times cleaner. The Logistic Performance Index. See, it has improved to 38. We want to go less than 10 by 2030. So with this background, I will move forward and I will try to cover little bit on the railway networks. You see from here that Indian Railway is the fourth largest network in the world. Now, this is very interesting statistics. In terms of the modals here, the Australia is number one, India is fourth with 26%, and in terms of the volume of traffic, if you talk about the goods, we are number four. In terms of the passengers, it is number two. Now, if you see the passengers which are transported in Indian railway system, it is roughly 2.5 to 2.6 crores, which is equivalent to the population of Australia, meaning thereby Indian Railway carry one Australia every day. And in terms of the capacity augmentation, last financial year it created around 5,300 kilometers. This is the total track length of Switzerland. So every year the Indian railway system is creating one Switzerland. Now if we go back to the history of Indian railways, the first train was basically hauled by 3 locomotives. They had given the name, it was driven by Sahib Sultan in Sindh, and it carried 400 passengers. And for the first time in the history of Indian Railways, 1907, Indian Railways began to make a profit, and all the rail companies were taken by the government. In the morning, I logged in and I was listening to some speaker on the railway electrification, etc. So we had recently completed 100 years of electrification, and it is a big basically achievement considering the fact that 100 years back we had started electrification. So we had our in-house manufacturing systems which commenced in the year 1950. We have got many more locomotives manufacturing units now. Then every day we are operating 20,000 trains. We have got more than 8,000 railway stations. We have got huge plan of developing these railway stations, and it is a lifeline of the nation, and it is the backbone of the nation's economy. So in the year 2014, the focus of the government changed from sanctioning new projects to completion, and from completion to commissioning. If the project is completed, it will not serve the purpose until and unless it is commissioned. So these were the extracts of the railway budget which highlighted few things which were very alarming. Like in last 10 years, 99 new railway line projects were sanctioned and only one completed. In last 30 years, 676 projects were sanctioned and only 317 could be completed, and there is a cost overrun, time overrun. So the government changed the focus. Let us utilize and use the infrastructures which have been completed by way of commissioning. No new work should be sanctioned until unless the previous ones are completed and it is operated. So if you see the last 10 years, we can very well say that the foundation has already been laid for this particular period of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav to Viksit Bharat. So we can see in terms of electrifications, in terms of the track renewals, in terms of the station developments, planning, and now execution, speed improvements, and other achievements, which also includes the various kinds of trains, LHB coaches. This is very interesting statistics which I have made myself. See, when we got the independence, we had a goods traffic of 73 million tons. 2014, we carried around 1050 million tons. 2024 it became 1591, and now we have got a target to achieve 3000 million tons by 2030 and 10,000 million tons by 2047. Similarly, if you see the passenger kilometers, presently we are carrying around 12.5 lakh kilometers, and if you see the projection by 2047, it may touch 25 lakh kilometers, which will include HSR and RRTS. Today we are not having any HSR. 500 kilometers HSR is under construction. But I can tell that by 2047, we may land with 10,000 kilometers of high-speed network. Pace of construction has almost become 3 times, more than 3 times. If you see the capex, 2014 it was 58,000 crores. Now we are talking about 2.6 to 3 lakhs crores. By 2047, we are going to have more than 20 lakh crores, and along with that, PPP projects will come into play. Route kilometers, we can see that it is roughly now 69,000 kilometers. We may end with more than 1 lakh kilometers by 2047. Modal share, I have already explained that from 88% in 1951, we are now at 26%, and we need to go to 45%. As I said that we are in a transition. This is a period of rising Bharat, and this 25-year block is very important. Why I'm saying this is very important? Because similar situations had happened in Japan, in China. 1970 to 1995, if you see the economy of Japan, it grew almost 25 times, despite of so many factors like Vietnam War. Then there were some wild crises, inflation was there, and China, if you see the block 1996 to 2021, just before the COVID 2020, they grew by 22 times. I was giving them some statistics about Indian Railways and Chinese. Now we are having an economy of 3.3 trillions. Now, how much we can grow and how much the infrastructure will grow in order to sustain that economic growth. So see, there are 3 reports available. One has been done by EY. They say that by 2047, we will have a 26 trillion economy. The Goldman Sachs, they have forecasted 50 trillion by 2075. Only few days back, Brain and company, they had said 23 to 33 trillions. There is a very interesting book, India at the rate 100 by Krishnamurthy Subramanian. What they say is that inflation is more or less fixed of 5% after 2016. Now, if we consider the GDP growth of 7%, so 7 plus 5 minus rate of depreciation, that is rupees with respect to the dollar, if it is 3%, which is average. Recently, there is a downward trend, but let us consider 3%. Then you apply rule of 70. That 7 plus 5 minus 3, that is 9, 70 by 9. In 8 years, it will become double. So in 25 years block, we will get 3 times doubling. That is 2 into 2 into 2, 8. 8 into 3.3, it will land 26 trillion, which is exactly forecast made by ENY. If we consider, if we are very optimistic, we consider 8% and rate of depreciation 0.5%, which is not there, then we may land to 55 trillions. And this is what exactly that particular book, India at the rate of 100, has forecasted. So what I want to tell is that creation of infrastructures will play a very pivotal role. Now, if you see the Indian Railway context, we are having 3 kinds of gauges. So all possible narrow gauge and meter gauge lines have already been converted to broad gauge. But in the hilly area, for the tourist purpose and some other purpose, narrow gauge lines exist. These are some of the pictures. The railway track works in 19th century. Now we can see that how the mechanized workings are taking place in augmentation of the capacity of the Indian Railway network. Sorry. So basically, railway play very important role in the context of the development of our country. It is basically helping the country in terms of the reduction in the logistic cost. It is increasing the connectivity. As I said, that one of the aim is to connect the unconnected area for the economic growth or otherwise, then the reliability and the resilience, and it is always part of the sustainable economy. The metro system, here one of the zonal railway is also part of the Indian railway system. So you can see that the planning, etc., the foundation stone laying took place more than 55 years back. Now, we are having more than 1000 kilometers of metro network. Total metro network which is under construction is more than 3000 kilometers. And presently, we are having 23 cities where the metro is in operation. And if you see the progress in last 10 years, it has increased its footprints from 5 cities to 23 cities. And by 2047, we expect that we will have more than 5,000 kilometers, maybe 7,500 kilometer plus in 75 cities. So the vision of Indian Railways by 2047 is that we are going to have the metro network expansion, high-speed network extension, RRTS extensions, construction of expressways, then multimodal logistic parks, just to basically reduce the logistic cost, the port capacity to increase to 10,000 MTPA. So we have got the huge planning in the context of the Indian Railways. We have got peculiar situation in the Indian railway system where 16% of the routes carry more than 50% of the passenger and 58% of the freight. Now, there are two corridors, the eastern and the western, that is roughly around 3000 kilometers, and more than 95% section has been commissioned. And the future, immediate future is around 8,722 kilometers. And the timeline which has been projected by 2031, 2041 and 2051, we can see that which are the corridors which are likely to be commissioned, and this will change the dynamics of the transportation in the country. See, Eastern and Western DFC, if you see that it is more than 11,000 hectares of land acquisition which has been done, more than 250 million cubic meter of earthwork has been done, more than 50 number of important bridges is other than the major bridges have been completed. Rail over rail flyovers, this becomes very important in order to remove the congestion in the yards and the other constraints in the train operations. The DFCC I'm talking about, because see, in the Indian railway system, the goods traffic and the passenger traffic all move together. And unless we have got the dedicated freight corridors, it is not going to improve the efficiency, it is not going to increase the speed of the trains. And the beauty of this DFC is that we have removed more than 850 number of level crossings. Road under bridges for this purpose, more than 550 have been constructed. Now, when we see the banks, it is not that simple. It is designed for certain axle load. So we have got specifications, various kinds of specifications, schedule of dimensions, which we follow for the purpose of construction of formation. Now, when the formations are made, we expect that the life of the formation will be more than 100 years. So then the quality becomes very important at the stage of construction. Even the bumps, the slope, etc. are required to be compacted. On the right side, you can see one of the videos where I was I was looking after the project. So this will clarify and this will say how even the slopes are compacted. Now, the cutting, you can see the toughing. On the right side, there is a bank, the Budni Barkhera section in Bhopal, It has been commissioned 1 year back, where we had a formation with a series of bumps, and the bank height was 25 meters. Now the rails, now we are using 60 kg rails. Now there is a concept of green rail, which we are going to have in time to come. So we can see the wider base sleepers we have adopted recently. The beauty of this wide base sleepers is that it enhances the track stability. It has got the longer life. The riding index goes up, and therefore the maintenance cost also goes down. This is a small video clip. We can see it is at the international basically standards, which is also used for the very high speed trains. This is a picture of Nagpur Central Railway, where two tracks, the east to west and north to south, cross at 90 degree. This is a picture which we always cherish, because a special kind of diamond crossing is there. It was designed by one of the very senior officer. Now he is retired member engineering, Sri Subodh Jan sir. Courtesy to him for designing this diamond crossing. This is a beautiful picture where you can see that lifeline of a city is passing over on land, is passing over a lifeline of the country. So Indian Railway Yard is there, and over that this particular metro is going. This is a typical double stack container goods train, typical railway yard, track substations. This is a Bardhaman cable stayed bridge in eastern part of the country. In Rajdhani route, I was associated as chief project manager more than 10 years back. In 2016, it was completed. I have got a small clip. This is the old clip, and the old bridge was dismantled. This is a Valarpadam, basically in the backwater of Kerala. This was 4.62 kilometer. This long bridge was constructed by RVNL in 27 months. And during that time, it was the longest rail bridge, and subsequently it was replaced by this rail cum road bridge, Bogeyville Bridge, which 4.94 kilometers Asia second, and this got basically commissioned in December 2018. Virdhi sir was there. Most probably he was also associated with this project. Now, this is Chenab Bridge, and the beauty of this bridge is we have got a Qutub Minar in Delhi, which is around 72 meter. Basically, the height is 72 meters. Eiffel Tower is more than 300 meters, 324 meters to be precise, whereas this particular bridge, the height is 359 meters. And the structural steel which has been used in this particular bridge is more than 29,000 metric ton. Now, I will play one small video. This is world's highest arch bridge. part was completed. This is another iconic structure, again connecting in the J&K, the Udhampur, Srinagar, Baramulla rail link project. The Kashmir is totally connected with the Indian railway system. This is the first cable-stayed railway bridge, and the total length is 470 meters, and the pylon height is 193 meters. This is the Mazharhat Metro Rail Station, which has been constructed over a busy yard where the suburban service is there and also the goods trains are also plying. The KOPT yard, Kolkata Port Trust yard is also there. So we can see that this particular metro station, there was a real technical challenge in completing this particular metro station, which is unique and first of its kind. Some of the buildings in the approaches were very close to the metro viaduct. Now, if you see the metro viaduct, it has got the piles, pile caps, then piers, then pier cap, then over that we have got the viaduct, segmental construction, the BLT part, then the tracks. So there are various sequences of construction. These are some of the glimpses, and we can see the pier cap in the approach of the station, how it has been constructed. These are the very simple things. Now it is very common. We are going to have more than 7,500 kilometers of metro by 2047. So some of the pictures of my work site where we can see that how the segmental constructions are there. Each segment weighs around 40 tons. The launching girders capacity is more than 400 to 500 tons. And then it is launched, and then it is through the pre-stacing, these segments are connected, and then it becomes girder, pre-staced girders. So this is the fabrication of the steel girders, then the casting process of the segments. These are the launching girders, we call it auto launching. Then PSCI girders, where the segmental construction is not possible, then we normally adopt these I girders. These are slightly economical, and this can be launched using the cranes at site. See, till 2018, we were importing the head hardened rails, and for the first time in India, in Calcutta, we use the indigenous rails. Now there are 5-6 metros where the indigenous rails, there is one company, Jindal, which is manufacturing these head hardened rails, are now being used. These are the standard fittings. Globally, there are 3-4 vendors which are very good of international norms. They are being followed in the BLT constructions. So these are some of the pictures of the ballastless track. I was involved in ballastless tracks in the various tunnels, whether it is Budni, Barkhera or otherwise. These are the sequences which we follow. For the purpose of construction, we use the new track construction machines for faster execution, for better execution, for execution with a proper quality, following the highest safety standards. Similarly, the surveying and the construction management have got now the technology with which we can follow the various kinds of methods for the purpose of better quality and safety norms. Even the OHE foundations, we are now using the mechanized augers. For the purpose of this erection of OHE mast, we have got the machines for erecting the mast. State-of-art signaling and telecommunication systems we have been using. This is, I have taken a picture from the DFC, Dedicated Freight Corridor, Allahabad, where we can see their operating control system. Then we have got various modules for the purpose of inspections using the AI. Then geotextile membrane in place of the stone boulders for backfilling to prevent unnecessarily stone mining. Then there are ways and methods for faster construction. I have given one example how to do the construction of the ROBs, where we have got to have a deep cuttings. We can see that we have driven some piles and then we have created space. We call it a top-down method. then how these box girders are placed using the technology as well as the innovative ideas. The QR coding, this is another aspect. So if you have got the coding, QR coding of a particular pier, then you can get all the drawings and the details of that particular structures. So this was implemented in few of the project sites in RVNL. Then we are also using technology for the Rishikesh Karnaprayag project. It is a project in the hilly terrain where the total length is 125 kilometers, and out of 125 kilometers, 84% is through the tunnels, and the longest tunnel is 15 kilometers, 14.75, and that is going to be the longest tunnel in the country. So what we do is we had taken some permission from NRSC, Hyderabad, for the high resolution satellite stereo pairs imagery, and then it has got a resolution of 0.5 meter. The accuracy is of that level. Then we had the topographical maps, geological maps, and then we fixed around 52 alignments. And then based on that 52 alignments, we considered 3 best alignments, and for the multi-criteria analysis and final alignment of the corridor. So the 52 alignments, then 3 alignments, and then one of the best alignments. We made presentations before the various ministries, and ultimately one alignment was considered, and we are very happy to say that this particular project is going to be commissioned by next year, maybe March 2026. Tunneling work is almost 80% work has been completed. So this is the alignment. Again, the considerations were slope instability in the station areas, open areas, interception of major thrust, underground stations, and sorry. So for the first time, we are using the TBM machines in the hilly terrains for the longest tunnel, which is 15 kilometers. Out of 15 kilometers, the tunneling work of 10.49 kilometers is being done by the TBM machines. There are 2 TBM machines. One is named as Siv, and the other one is Sakti, Siv and Sakti. So this has given a very good progress, and in last 2 years, more than 80 kilometers of tunneling has been done in this particular project. A special kind of TBM is there, and for the first time, a special kind of TBMs were manufactured for the Himalayan regions. These are some of the screens which are visible in the TBMs, and how things are monitored to have the proper quality. We are using the modern construction machines. I will not take time on this because I am sharing this presentation, so whoever is interested can go through this. We are using the most modern machineries for the purpose of tunneling. This is a small video. It is again totally mechanized. Automatic drill jumbo, we can see. And how we are saving the cost and the time. So because of these kind of the most advanced machineries, we have been able to save time, we have been able to save the cost. And now if we compare the timeline of these projects with respect to the Jammu and Kashmir projects, then we can compare and we can find out and we can tell that this is faster, much faster, at least 10 times faster than the previous project. For the purpose of construction over yard, Bardhaman, where we saw this, we had used the technology again, LARSA 4D model and LUSA's models for stage analysis and for the design LARSA models. So the idea is the 4th dimension is the time, X, Y, Z, and T is the time. And in order to have the proper safety controls, we need to have these innovative ideas in order to have the complete control on because the entire erection took 197 days. The structure keeps on hanging over the yard, busy yard, Rajdhani route. So we need to have total command and control during the execution period. Then we had introduced the live monitoring system in that particular bridge. The idea is that using a computer with a user ID and password, you can see the condition of the bridge through a remote computer. This is a big demand in the Indian railway system because we have got huge number of railway bridges and they are now old, more than 100 years old bridges are also in large numbers. So major components of the monitoring system is basically, these are the monitoring basically components. Then we have also used technology for the erection of OHE. This is a first project which we took through the bidding. We started the bidding in 2020-21 in RVNL, and few months back when I retired, we had got more than 40,000 crores of orders from market through this bidding cell which Virdi sir was mentioning. This is again innovation, that reverse shuttering. Then pneumatic piles head braking. This is very simple. This particular equipment was made by one of the chief project manager who was working under me. Based on the discussion, we can see that how this pile head cutting is done. This is having some kind of a high carbon cutters. We call it diamond cutters. And with this, there is no labor involved. It is a total machineries and machines and technology which is cutting the pile heads. So before doing the pile cap, some tests are required to be done. For that, this cutting is really necessary. We have got some senior general managers from Indian Railways. One of the reasons for not moving the goods traffic to the fullest efficiency is congestion in the yard. I was involved in this rail flyover, and this was commissioned around 1.5 years back. This is Gudur in South Central Railway. We have got traffic towards Vijayawada, Chennai and Renigunta, and this particular flyover was constructed, rail flyover, just to avoid the traffic. It was part of the third line project. Similar kind of rail over rail bridges are required in the various yards if we really want to improve the efficiency of the train operations. There are 80 spans. It is 2.2 kilometer long. We can see Vande Bharat passing. One of the aim of Indian Railway is to connect the unconnected part. Rameshwaram was earlier connected, but for the last 2 years it was disconnected. Now this particular bridge is ready. This is first of its kind. This is the vertical bridge. So if we want to see the kind of infrastructures which are now being constructed in India, whether it is a Statue of Unity, whether it is the Atal Tunnel, whether it is Chenab Bridge, whether it is the Jojila Tunnel. Now I have been talking about the Indian railway system. Now if you see the total length of the national highway in 2014, it was 91,000 kilometers, which has gone to 1,47,48,000 kilometers. So we can see the kind of growth, the kind of infrastructures which are being created. We have got the Bharatmala, we have got the Sagarmala, we have got so many projects. There are so many initiatives which have been happening in the country. I have got two small videos. Sir, I am not taking much of time, sir. I'll take another 3-4 minutes. So
Okay, fine.
on the left side, sir, there is an animation. This is 24 December 1809 when the first train they tried to move. It is slightly humorous also. You will enjoy it. So this led to the basically evolution of the passenger trains. Now you see this video. So the high-speed train and the Vande Bharat train we can see. So this is the second last slide. So the journey of the great Indian Railways continue, and thank you for your precious time. And what I want to tell you is that the Indian Railway has got a very big future. By 2047, we are going to have the complete turnaround in the Indian Railways. We are going to have the high-speed network to the extent of 10,000 kilometers. We are going to have more and more of RRTS, metro networks more than 7,500 kilometers across 75 cities, and the capex which we are going to have around 3 lakhs crores in 25-26. This may touch 20 lakhs crores. We are going to have more and more PPP models for creation of infrastructures, and then the pace of construction will also go up. 100% electrification, the traffic, which is now around 1591 million tons. We may touch 3000 million tons by 2030. By 2047, we are 100% sure that we will have this 10,000 million tons. So the journey to Viksit Bharat is very much on track, and it is possible because of the initiatives taken by the government and through the technology, innovation, more and more infra creations, whether it is in railway sector or otherwise, investments and the industry partnership. So hope I prepared in last 2 days this particular presentation, and I hope it is all right. I will share the copy of this particular presentation through JL Singh sir, and he can circulate to all the members of this enthusiast society. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Prasad. That was a wonderful overview of the Indian Railways history and future progress, and a bird's eye view of what we can expect in the years ahead. I can add that our engineers are second to none. They can match the best in the world. All that we need are to remove the bottlenecks of land acquisition, environmental clearances, and adequate availability of funds. I mean, after that, I don't think our engineers need any other assistance. They are the best in the world. So with that, I agree that if we expect a GDP growth of 7% over the next foreseeable future, by the thumb rule, we can say that the transport growth will be about 10.5%. And if Indian Railways is to increase its modal share, then the target for the Indian Railways has to be clearly more than 10% in the growth year on year. So it's a tall order, but I'm sure that the powers that be today in the Railway Board and the Ministry will be looking at all these figures. There are now a multiplicity of organizations. There is the RRTS, there is the metro, there are the ports, there are the expressways. Everything takes a share of the pie in the growth in the transport industry in India. I'll request Mr. JL Singh to please help me out to see if there are any questions.
No, I was going to do that
from the audience.
There are a few questions, but there are a number of comments too. I'll read a comment by Mr. Himakar Tata. He says, "Thank you very much, Mr. Prasad, for your detailed research over the intertemporal growth of the Indian Railways, along with changing emphasis on improved technologies and priorities. The wealth of statistics and contemporary visuals presented by you on the dedicated freight corridors are thought-provoking. The comparative figures for Japan and China highlight the urgency for us to step up substantially our investment in transport infrastructure. Indeed, a very engaging presentation. Thank you very much." Manikandan Venkatramanan also has a comment. He says, "Thanks very much for showcasing the initiatives that are being undertaken and are in progress. I do hope that these projects fulfill the aspirations of all Indians in being a world-class and world-beating system. Looking forward to that day." There's one question from Mr. S.K. Suri. He's asking, can any RVNL project be named recent project which has been completed exactly on time as envisaged when the plan was made?
Okay, Suri sir, very good evening. Hope you are all right, sir. Nice to see you here in this particular forum. Sir, I had showcased one particular project, Pamban Bridge. Now, if you see the Pamban Bridge, there is a road bridge for which the construction started in 1972 and it got commissioned in 1988. Whereas this Pamban Bridge, new vertical bridge, it got sanctioned in 2019 and in 2024, September, October, it is ready for commissioning. Now we are waiting for a date. Now, a project of this size, which is costing more than 500 crores, and right from sanction to commissioning, if it is taking less than 5 years, it is on time. The road bridge, which was sanctioned much earlier, it took 14 years plus, and this particular year, foundation stone was laid by the Honorable Prime Minister, and the same Honorable Prime Minister, within a span of 5 years, he is inaugurating it. So this is one burning example. The second example which I will cite is the Rishikesh Karnaprayag, where the project basically execution started only in the year 2020. And by 2025 end and 26 March, we are now planning to commission the entire 125 kilometers. Already part of the section has been completed. More than 85% tunnels have been constructed. More than 84% the alignment passes through the tunnels. So you can imagine the pace of construction. And I have made some slides to showcase how it is helping in reducing the cost and reducing the time. नहीं क्या सर मैं am I audible
ठीक है।
sir?
हाँ
you
नहीं
come back.
excellent बहुत बढ़िया. I think
You are missing, now you
RVNL
come
done
back.
a great job. Excellent.
Nice to see you sir.
Yeah, same here.
I had raised a query.
हाँ sir, good evening sir.
Joshi.
Sir, nice to see you sir.
Hello. You see, you have said this year we are 1560 million tons, and by 2030 we should be 3000 million tons. That means almost doubling from now in next 5 years. I think it is not possible.
Sir, whether it is possible
Just projections
or not
which have no
possible,
meaning.
whether it is possible or whether it is not possible, what I want to tell you is that government has made a detailed plan. There is a mission 3000 million tons. There is a complete booklet available, and the documents are available, and the ways how we can achieve that is possible. And I can tell you, sir, if we believe that it is possible, then we will achieve it. But in the beginning, if we say that it is not possible, it is not at all possible, then we will not achieve it. So let us think positive. Positive things will happen.
No, we have been thinking positive. I am saying that only 5 years are left. We are thinking positive for last 5 years.
Sir,
But now
sir,
5
there
years
have
have gone.
Yes, sir.
Only 5 years are left to double this.
Please excuse
I
my
doubt.
intervening.
No,
Just you can continue
the
this
pace is
discussion
picking up,
of,
sir. The pace is picking up.
of this program. Now that we are approaching the time for the next talk, I
Yes.
suggest we stop this talk right now with a big thank you to Mr. Rajesh Prasad for giving us a very comprehensive and detailed projection of what is likely to be done and what is being achieved with the technologies that are available now. Thank you, Mr. Prasad.
Thank you very much, sir.
Mr. Manoj,
Yeah.
over to you.